That's where detection picks up, is that third piece. Remember, identify, protect, detect is the third. And here is the huge challenge that organizations have today, is they don't have good detection mechanisms. Remember going back to people say to me, I had no idea this was happening. That is the challenge. And then you think about the other two, respond and recover with NIST CSF. I can't even begin response and recovery until I've detected. So detect is that linchpin and happens to be the area where we are the weakest at. And so those are big things. And what I want you to think about when you're going through your security journey and the conversations you should be having should be things like, how do we build detection into what we're doing? And this is a big piece of what we're doing at ConnectWise. What we're doing here with all our friends here is it's all about that idea of giving you the ability to detect so that you can respond and you can recover. And so for those that are technical in the room, what that looks like is things like, I should know what's happening in my network. I should know the weird anomalies that are occurring that may or may not be malicious. I'll give you an example of this. Let's say someone opens a Word document in your office, and that Word document has a macro in it, and that macro wants to go and change something in the registry, like the Windows registry. I know I'm getting really technical for some of you. That is weird. In my experience, 99% of the time, that's malicious. Not always, but often. Those are things that antivirus does not look at. Those are things that a firewall is not concerned with. When something like that happens, you should have some ability to say, that was a weird log, that was a weird occurrence. I should go take a peek at that and see what's happening there to determine if that's malicious. And that's a big piece of what we're doing. And at ConnectWise, in partnership with Jesse and team, what we're doing is giving you the capability to have the ability to see that kind of stuff, to say, we're not saying for sure it's malicious, but we are for saying 24/7, 365, we're watching it, and we're going to dive in, and we're going to take a peek, and we're going to do something about it. Another example would be like Microsoft 365 or Google Apps. What happens when someone logs in from a strange location, or turns off two-factor, or shares out an anonymous link in OneDrive or Google Docs? Those are all like oddities that are not necessarily malicious, but gives us the chance to say, let's dive into that and see what's happening. Those are like super valuable things that organizations typically lack. And the reason you lack it is detection is hard. Detection takes people that are watching over the network. And I'll kind of leave you and end with this analogy. When you think about detection, think about it like you're like a home alarm system. Think about it how you secure your home, right? I have locks on my doors. When I go to bed at night, when we go somewhere in the day, I lock the doors. The reason I lock them is to keep the neighbor kid out. The neighbor kid will come over, he doesn't knock, he just walks in, wanting to see my kids. Just walks right in. And so my defense mechanism to keep him out is to lock the door. So he walks in, he can't open the door handle, he's locked out, we're good. It's not to stop a bad guy, right? Like, what bad guy actually walks up to my home and jiggles the door handle and is like, oh shucks, locked, foiled again, I guess I'll have to try tomorrow. Nobody, right? What are they gonna do? They're gonna kick the door down, they're gonna break a window or slide it open, they're gonna pick the lock, they're gonna do Santa style down my chimney. My house has a chimney. What do we do as a defense mechanism? We put an alarm system in the home, whether it's SimpliSafe, ADT, Ring, Nest, whatever it may be that you've chosen. The reason we put an alarm system in is because we operate the expectation at some point some threat could happen. And I know my prevention controls are not going to keep all of these bad guys out. And no one gets mad at their alarm system when a bad guy gets in the home. That's not the purpose of the alarm system. The alarm system's purpose is to tell me when it happened. I saw a hallway movement at 2 a.m. and a window open. That's a huge deal. We should call police so that we can eliminate or reduce that threat. And I love the analogy. That's what we lack today in our defenses and our networks. We don't have the home alarm system, so to speak, that tells us when something failed, we can do something about it. And that is what we're all about doing. That's what we're about, giving that capability and control and ability. So that's really what I want to talk to you guys about is thinking through cyber resilience. It means going down that full journey of the CSF. Identify and protect, you probably have pretty good controls around that, but detection is that's where we find the bad things that happen, we can do something about it, which then allow us, and I didn't even talk about response and recovery, but that's what allows for us to have the ability to respond and the ability to recover, so that when we go through cyber resilience, remember we talked about our measure of our ability to continuously operate in adverse conditions, that's where the success comes from. And it can be done for every single every organization that's out there. So I hope that helps you. I hope that gives you a framework for security, and I hope that really opens your eyes to say, we definitely need to do more. I was a 5, but 5 years ago I was a 3 or a 2, haven't done enough. Definitely want to have some conversations with the folks in this room so that you can begin to go down that journey. Thanks.